When the phone rang in the middle of a high-stakes business meeting, billionaire entrepreneur Daniel Hart almost ignored it, until he saw the caller ID, his 6-year-old son, Leo. The boy never called him during work hours unless something was terribly wrong. Daniel excused himself and rushed out into the hallway, answering in a hushed but urgent voice, "Leo, buddy, what's wrong?" A trembling whisper hit his ear, "Dad. Mom locked me in the freezer." Daniel froze, his breath caught in his chest, and for a moment the world around him fell silent. He heard the muffled sobs of his child, the cold humming of an appliance, the sound of tiny fists pounding on metal. "Stay on the phone, Leo. Daddy is coming right now," he said, his voice shaking as he sprinted toward the elevator. His mind raced. His wife, Serena, beautiful, elegant, adored by society, had been struggling silently for months, battling stress, emotional breakdowns, and a darkness she hid from the world. Daniel had ignored all the signs, buried in his empire, believing money could fix everything. Now his son was paying the price. Traffic blurred as he sped home, each red light tormenting him with images of Leo shivering alone in the dark. By the time he reached the mansion's huge iron gates, he didn't wait for them to open fully. He squeezed his car through, tires screeching across the driveway. He ran inside, shouting his son's name, his voice echoing through the marble halls. The kitchen door was half open, and inside, the sight nearly crushed him. The refrigerator door was closed, cold fog leaking from the edges, and Serena stood a few feet away, trembling, confused, frozen in fear as if she herself didn't understand what she had done. Daniel rushed past her, yanked the freezer door open, and there Leo stood, red-faced, crying, terrified, his tiny frame shaking beneath the icy air. Daniel scooped him into his arms instantly, wrapping him tight, whispering, "Daddy's here. Daddy's here." Leo clung to his neck, sobbing as warmth returned to his little fingers. Serena collapsed to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably, "I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I just wanted him to stop screaming." "Daniel, I'm losing control." Everything finally clicked for him, the sleepless nights, the way she stared blankly at walls, the sudden outbursts, the unpredictable anger. She wasn't a monster, she was a mother drowning silently in her own mind. Daniel called for help immediately, doctors, security, his assistant, anyone who could stabilize the chaos. He wrapped Leo in a thick blanket, holding him close while paramedics checked his temperature. Thankfully, he wasn't harmed, just scared, shaken, needing comfort more than anything else. Serena was taken gently into medical care, not as a criminal, but as someone desperately needing mental help. As the ambulance drove away, Daniel sat on the kitchen floor with Leo in his lap, staring at the open refrigerator and realizing how deeply he had failed his family. All the wealth, the power, the success meant nothing when he couldn't even see the suffering of the people he loved most. That night, he didn't return to his skyscraper office or penthouse meetings. Instead, he tucked Leo into bed, stayed beside him until he fell asleep, then spent hours walking through the silent house, haunted by the thought that he could have lost his son forever. In the morning, he made a decision that shocked everyone in his empire. He announced he would step back from his company, giving full control to his trusted board while he focused on healing his family. Reporters called it shocking. Investors called it irresponsible. But Daniel didn't care. Leo needed a father. Serena needed help. And he needed redemption. Days turned into weeks as Daniel rebuilt his relationship with his son, breakfast together, long walks, bedtime stories, laughter filling the mansion again. And every evening, he visited Serena at the recovery center, holding her hand, promising that he wasn't giving up on her. Slowly, with treatment and support, she began to recover, her eyes gaining clarity, her voice steadier each day. Eventually, she admitted, "I was drowning, Daniel, and I didn't know how to ask for help." He hugged her gently and whispered, "I'm here now. We're going to fix this. Together." Months later, Serena returned home, healthier, calmer, stronger, and the first thing Leo did was run into her arms. She cried softly, holding him close, whispering apologies he was too young to fully understand. But Daniel understood, and he promised himself never to let them suffer in silence again. The mansion that once echoed with cold, distant silence now beat with warmth, laughter, and second chances. And in the final scene of the story, Daniel looks straight at the camera, your viewer, and says the words every parent needs to hear: money means nothing if your family is breaking inside. Don't wait for something tragic to wake you up. Put family first. And that's the moment your audience feels the emotional punch, the moral, and the heart of the story, reminding them to cherish their loved ones while they still can.